And good evening, good afternoon, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Dragon's Den. My name is Digital Dragon, aka Luke, and I would like to welcome you into today's stream where we're going to be finalizing our Voron Trident and actually get it pushing plastic today. So thank you all for coming in and joining me this evening. And for those of you that have stuck with me through the whole build stream, I appreciate it a lot. Let me go ahead and switch the screen and give you a little bit more of a preview of our Voron Trident. Sorry about that. Let me see if I can't get it a little bit. One of these days I'll get a good pan tilt. But we do have it up and running. It has been on and just, I'll say, kind of soaking, powered on for a couple of days since the last stream. Just sitting there chilling. I have not printed with it, though I do have filament loaded up back here. Just making sure that filament path and everything was working well. I hope everybody's doing well. Can you all hear me? Please tell me that yes, I did get the mic cleared away. Let's see, who all do we have in here starting the stream? I see Timor and 3D Medic Vents. How are you all doing today? Hope you guys are doing well. So on the last stream, I do need to apologize. Hey, Creatix Brit, how are you doing? Thank you for joining us. Yeah, so the last stream, I do need to sincerely apologize to everybody. I had another screen up over my OBS screen as I was working on some wiring, and I did not see that the stream dropped. I do not know how long the stream had dropped, but I did continue, and I did have everything recorded. Now, with that being said, apparently there is a size limit for recordings that you can upload into Twitch, and it happens to be 20 gig. And my recording wound up being just over 20 gigs, so it would not let me upload that to Twitch. It did let me, however, upload it to YouTube. So the full stream recording is available on YouTube, and it should be set up within the playlist for the Voron Trident build in YouTube for posterity's sake. So let me kind of think through and recap everything we did on the last stream. Actually, before I get going, let's wait for a few people to come on in. How are you doing today, Creatix Brit? Hope you are doing well. Once again, I hope you're doing well as well. Timor and 3D Medic Vents, I see you kind of lurking around in the background here. Hope you all are doing good today. It's been a wild and highly caffeinated day today for me. I had to actually go into the office because I was meeting one of our vendors and, got coffee and chatted with them. And then as I was done with them and I was getting ready to leave to head back home, one of my coworkers wanted to take me out to coffee. So I was like, okay, so a bunch of coffee, no food on the stomach. That was bad. I was like, had the shakes and the twitches and everything going on. So I'm still kind of working my way down through that highly caffeinated state. But yeah, so on the last stream, we did some final wiring work. Hey, how's it going, John D. Strand? So we did some final wiring work on the last stream, and we got the SB2209 fully configured. So what we needed to do was we put CAN boot on it using the USB connection and then we removed the USB connection. We connected in our CAN bus umbilical wire, and we had to do the termination down underneath the deck panel. And that's kind of where I realized that I lost the stream. Hey, 3D Medic Vince, how are you doing? Thank you for being a returning chatter. And we got that wired up, we got it connected, we got the printer turned over, and everything was working. So, yay. I have moved everything around. I did check X and Y travel movements. The X and Y needed to be swapped, so we had to flip it back, turn it off, flip it back over, swap the two motors around, and turn it back on. Everything's moving right as rain. I will show you, let me kick over here to the browser window. We are able to home all. Yes, there is an accelerometer on the EBB SB2209 toolhead board. So just like the EBB 36 or 42, which were the first CAN bus tool boards, the SB2209 is specifically designed for the stealth burner, and it does have an accelerometer on it. So as you see, we just did a home. We're going to do a Z-tilt. And this is similar to a quad gantry level on a 2.4, where it tries to measure 3 different points on the bed and make sure that it has a level plane. And yes, it's a NOMI screen. It's KNOMI. In fact, I just tossed the box over here, so it's the NOMI or NAMI. And right now you will see some screen animations. At this point, it's doing the Z-tilt. When the bed's heating, it'll show you the bed heating screen. When the hot end's heating, it'll show you the hot end heating screen. The bed leveling, or in this case, the mesh, this and the mesh, I still haven't gotten that animation screen to show up. And I think it has something to do with the camp install, and I haven't quite figured out what code needs to be done. No, that's okay. That's okay. So I will have an evil gnome, or an evil, was it? Evil. Oh, what do we, a yard demon. There we go. I will have a yard demon keeping track of things. So we can do that. We can do, I'll do another home, and then we'll go ahead and do a height map. And I'll show you how that works. Let's see. I did run a PID tune. Yeah, Yard Demon. I did run a PID tune on both the bed and the hot end. And I have run Input Shaper for the first time. I did Shaper Calibrate, Shaper_Calibrate, which does the automatic calibration run. Yeah, so at this point, as it's doing the bed mesh, it should do a different type of animation. And I can't get it to work appropriately. Don't know why. And this is running TAP. It's running the Chaotic Labs CNC TAP. This is actually their latest revision of the CNC TAP. It uses a HGN7 rail, not a 9 like the printed one does. And it's a genuine high wind rail. And the nice thing is it comes fully assembled. All you have to do is remove the belt clamps, run your belts, put the belt clamps back on, tighten it as best you can by hand, run your 4 screws into your MGN 12 carriage on your X-rail, and the rest of it is putting your tool head on. So you don't have to go through and do any crazy, printed parts, 1,500 screws, magnets. It's all built in and ready to go out of the box. Let's see. On the back here, I did do a different style back. This is it's kind of a solid backing plate with one exit hole at an angle for the Bowden tube. And I will be doing another piece that'll clip on here and go through the Bowden tube that'll just hold it up and kind of guide it a little bit. Because we ran our umbilical over the side here, I didn't need that same backing plate like we used in the 2.4 that went right to the middle. Thank you. And once again, I did put the back on off stream just so I could get this backing place on and get things set up for the beginning of the stream. I did have the top panel on, then I took it off just because it's easier to see whichever camera I'm using, because I've got the smoked panels. And I realized when I opened these up to install them that I only have one of the side panels. I had a top and the side panel, but I didn't have 2 side panels. So I reached out to the vendor that I got it from to ask them if they can just ship me another side panel so that I can finish the build. But for right now, it would just be PLA that I can print with. So the bed surface, this is a textured plate. I really don't think the bed is that cattywampus for being a Mike 6 build plate. As I run this, it gets into a better range. So I think it's just the kinematic mounts just kind of working their way in. But yes, this is a very nice and clean build. I am very happy with it. We also have, if you can see down here in the back right corner, we have the Nevermore 6 installed down here. All of the fans on here are Honey Badger fans. So on this, the range is 0.343 millimeters on that 5x5 bed mesh across the 300 by 300. Yeah, it's good and it's dual. I mean, it's workable. Let's see. Any other surprises on this? I don't think so. The build went really well. I did go through and make sure that all of the screws on the gantry, I made sure and retightened those to make sure they were all good. Like I said, we did run input shaper on it. So we do have our shaper calibrate. And I have loaded and purged filament through it, but I have not actually printed anything. I wanted to wait and print with you all. So when do I want to bring it down to you? I don't know, John Strand, where are you at? I'm in North Carolina. Yep. North Florida. Oh my God. Oh my. I was born and raised in Florida, and I can only imagine You'll meet me in Jacksonville. Um, yeah. Don't know if I'll get rid of the Trident just yet. This is my only Trident, though I may have another 2.4 build in the near future. Fingers crossed. What I did is I just quickly, right before the stream, sliced a couple of files. I'm going to do the Cali Dragon because that's about a 32-minute print. And, well, I need something that's a dragon. So I just wanted to get a little quick print. These were sliced with Orca Slicer. And we will just go ahead and get this started. And yes, I did wait for you all. It was really, really tempting to print with this before streaming just to make sure it printed. And I was like, no, you guys were along with me for this journey. You deserve to see the first print on this just as much as I do, even though it was killing me waiting. And for those of you that weren't here on the one stream, everybody kept saying that this was Iron Man colors because it's Sparta 3D, Sparkle Fluorescent Red, and Sparta 3D Sparkle Old Copper for the accents. And everybody kept saying, oh my God, those are Iron Man colors. It's an Iron Man. It looks great. Well, to me, it's not Iron Man because it would be more of a shinier, copper, bronzy, gold type look. But I'm like, okay, we'll go with it. So I named it Iron Dragon because, as you know, I kind of have a running theme that all of my things are called dragon of some sort. So you'll notice here, and I'll bring you guys in a little closer so that you can see this. But our Nomi display is showing us at the top is the set temperature, which is 60 degrees Celsius. And at the bottom is the current temperature for the bed. So it's kind of I'll say a niche or kish thing. I mean, however you want to call it. It's just one of those things. It's kind of like, Pimp My Ride, only it's Pimp My Printer. It's really not needed, but why not? And I've seen somebody that has, somebody on Twitter showed an image or a little video. They had their Nomi directly connected to their Raspberry Pi, and they had the Matrix stream going through it. So I thought that was kind of cool. So they do expose what you would need to do to program whatever screen you want. Whatever screen you want on these. So you can fully reprogram these Nomis. It just comes with a bunch of predefined images and animations. So it's showing the bed. Once the bed gets up, then it'll start, it'll go through and do the probing, and then it will do the hot end. So the hot end fan just kicked on, which means it's starting to heat up the hot end now. And you will notice that I have the Dragon burner front to this. So Osita Craft created a Dragon burner or Dragon Stealth burner front for me and posted it on printables. And because the Nomi uses a modified stealth burner front, I wasn't able to get hold of Osita Craft in time, so my buddy Evil Diesel modified the Nomi front for me to have the dragons. Now you see the animation for the nozzle heating up. No, which is weird, and I just realized what's going on. Is I slice files, and I'm going to have to cancel this and reslice these files because I don't have my starting macros set up in Orca Slicer for this printer. So bear with me 1 second. Yeah, sorry about that. So what it was getting ready to do a full-on probe, which would have been bad. Yeah. So it was getting ready to do a full-on probe, which would have been bad because that nozzle is hot, and a hot nozzle with a little bit of oozing filament when you use nozzle probing is bad. And once again, the issue there was that I failed to update or modify the G code, the default G code in Orca Slicer. So bear with me 1 moment. And we will try that again with a properly sliced version that actually runs the right thing. And I should have realized it when it didn't go and do a bed probe before it started heating up the hot end. So with Voron Tap, you have to add a specific macro into your code so that it will not start to do a bed probe if your bed is over 150 degrees. Because if it is, it will destroy your PEI surface. So, yeah, you got to be careful of that. So now it has heated up the heater bed. It'll heat the extruder. So we are going to preheat the extruder to 145. Then it will go and do its homing, Z-tilt, home, and bed mesh per camp. And then it will start the print. So we get the little home screen. And for whatever reason, I still have to look into the macros and why it does that. But every once in a while, it just throws this error that extrude is below the minimum temp. And it's like it fails to do a bed mesh or something. And it's something to do with camp because I've never had that problem until I started running camp. So I probably just need to download the latest version of camp and put it on all my machines. So we'll do the home. Then it should do a Z-tilt adjust and fix itself because I made the bed all cattywampus. And it did it again. So I do not know why. We'll try one more time. Sorry, you're probably picking up a lot of that fan noise, so let me step back just a bit. And while we're getting this going yet again, let me just welcome in. We got 3D Medic Vents, Aaron F. Geared, Creatix Britt, John Strand, Leroy, and Timor, and Kata. Thank you all for being here and showing up today. And I don't know why it's being a pickle for whatever reason. There we go. Oh, seriously? Come on. Now it's just going to make me mad because it's being annoying. So if it wants to be annoying, I'll be annoying too. We'll just, I'm actually going to do a full reboot on it and just see if I can't get it to figure itself out. So this is interesting when it does this. All this is that it's lost connection. So your Nomi screen actually talks to your Raspberry Pi, or actually your Clipper installation, over Wi-Fi. Lurking for dinner. Okay, what's for dinner, John Strand? I mean, if you're going to be talking about going and eating dinner, you got to tell us what you're having before you go. Hey, Leroy, how are you doing? Hope you're doing well. So we're going to try this one more time, see if we can't get it to get past itself. If not, I may just re-upload the camp file from the 2.4 simply because I was playing around with it and it may be something that I did that's causing it to give an error or act weird. Because yes, I do make mistakes sometimes. And I do have to say that these printers are a lot quieter when you have all the panels on them. Yeah, this is a self-sourced hodgepodge Voron Trident. We have a Tensor 3D B-stock frame. We've got a LDO Motors Z kit for the 3 Z screws that was donated by LDO Motors Jason. We have LDO Motors AB and extruder drives. And I really... Okay, so something may be tickled here. Let me make a quick change and get rid of whatever it was that I put in here. because I was working trying to get the probing screen to show up. I'm going to save and close that. We're going to come in here and we're going to get rid of this. So I think we should be back to stock. No, the bed's not too far out. What it's telling me is that the extrude temp is below. So it's almost like it is, like it's skipping some sort of part in the macro. So, and once again, I'm going to step back a little bit from the printer just to get away from the fan noise some, because I'm not sure if the mic's picking it up. So yeah, let me put views so you can see me down below and see the printer here. So it should heat up the bed to whatever the bed temp is, in this case 60°C. Then it should heat the hot end up to 145. Then it should home. After it homes, it should do a Z tilt adjust. It is a little cattywampus, but that shouldn't be an issue. It should be able to right itself with the Z tilt adjust. And there we go. So yeah, it was something in the different changes that I had put in there, or maybe not. What is going on? Will you even do a Z tilt? Okay, so yeah, it is because it's out of cattywampus. Okay. So let me kind of raise those up a little bit. Maybe that was it, that it was a little bit too far out. There we go. Good call, Aaron. Thank you. Well, that was way out of range, like 4.5 millimeters between the 3 points. So let's see how quickly it gets itself adjusted. Aaron has big brain. Yeah, yeah. Well, I should have thought about that too, because I had dropped that front so bad that it was out of the extra range that I gave it. So just like that, 2 probing passes, and we made it to tolerance. My tolerance is set to 0.005, and we actually hit 0.00375. So apparently that's good. Now let's see if we can get the print to go off. Hey, Chewy, how's it going, my friend? Welcome in, welcome in. So believe it or not, we've been streaming for about a half an hour and we're still trying to get the first print. The first couple of times I tried to run the print, it finally dawned on me that I sliced them in Orca Slicer, but I forgot to change my start G codes, so it was going to probe the bed with a fully hot hot end, which is bad. So with running nozzle probing in tap, if you try and do that with a hot end over 150 degrees, you could damage your PEI sheet. So what we just did was we had the bed heated to 60, the tool head heated to 145, which is below that threshold. We did a home, we did a Z-tilt adjust, and then we did another home. And now we're going to start that print and see how our first layer looks. It's going to do the bed mesh for camp, and we're printing a Cali Dragon as the first print. Hey, Kit Skyfire, how are you doing? Yes, there's a Nevermore 6 down here in the bottom. Fans are working. There is no activated charcoal in it yet because I'm not going to bother putting it in until we get it enclosed. I haven't, I have loaded filament. I purged the filament. I have not printed with this printer yet. This is the first print on this printer. So, hey, Emoji 3D, how are you? Thank you for joining in and thank you for the follow. If you would be so kind, since you just followed, please go and check your notifications and make sure that Twitch did the right thing and set up your notifications right. I have had a few people that have not been notified when I've gone live. For whatever reason, I don't know if it's a glitch in Twitch or what. Same thing happens with YouTube as well, where even though you say, you know, notify or notify all, every once in a while it just changes. So if you want to make sure that you're notified when I'm on stream, because I have been known to do some ad hoc streams, feel free to make sure that the notifications are set up. And for those of you that are new, while we get this started, hold that thought. Like I said, I haven't printed with this before, so I want to make sure my first layer is good. Looks pretty mint to me. And you may notice that there's no lights. Yeah, the lights are wired up. The lights are not on. The pin is set correctly. I think the positive and negative wires are flipped. So I will take the front off, you know, just flip the connector over, and hopefully the wire or the lights come on. If they don't, then I'll be ordering a new set of lights. Because that happens sometimes. And you may notice that we're cruising a bit here. Hey, Dutch dude, how's it going? How's it going? So let's see, Skyfire, you printed the V6 recently yourself. Used one of the mods to make it a bit easier to load media. Okay. Yes. So I've got I've got a couple of the, I don't even know what size these are, but I've got a couple of these packs, and they've got the larger sizes as well. So I probably need to go and order a larger size. Yeah. And by the way, if you all are interested in stuff from KB3D, I am an affiliate with KB3D now, and I need to post some links out to you all so that you can use those links and you can go get stuff from KB3D, and it'll help out the channel. I will get a little bit back to help with future builds. But yeah, yep, I think we're good. I'm doing good, Dutch Dude. I'm still a little wired. So I had to go into the office this morning and meet with one of my vendors, and they took me out to coffee. So I had coffee. And as I was getting ready to leave the office to come back, one of my other coworkers took me out for coffee, and we chatted some more. So I have about 2 good extra large solid cups of coffee in me. So I'm a little jittery. Good thing I'm not trying to wire or solder today. Hey, Dutch Dude, thank you for subscribing for 3 months and using your Bezo bucks on me. I appreciate that. The Nevermore Stealth Max for your V2. All right, I didn't even know, like, Nevermore is like literally just a couple of weeks out. We've already got all these mods for it. Like, you're going to have to, you know, if you can, Kit Skyfire, if you're not part of my Discord, please join the Discord. Let me pop it up here. Please go out and join my Discord. And if you don't mind, drop that link in the general channel for a couple of these mods. I'd be interested in looking at those and seeing what they look like. Another disc. Yeah, everybody's got a Discord. I know. I know. You can throw the link in here too. Like I said, I do take these videos because they don't live that long on Prime or on Twitch. I do cross-pollinate them over to the YouTube channel, so they will live longer out there on the YouTube land. But if you can get that link, either throw it out here in the chat, or if you could, add it to the Discord. And that has failed. It did break loose, so let me stop the print. Okay, and I know it's not going to show up well on here what that first layer looks like. So, but we do need to go down just a little bit. We do have some gaps between the walls and the infill. So we'll go down just a little bit. Let me make sure our nozzle's cleaned. We will restart that print. Actually, before I do that, let me be offset. Drop down 0.1, and then we'll give it another shot. Because, yeah, I'm actually... Yeah, that's going to be a good starting spot. Okay, so we'll get that going again. Sorry about my head being in the way. This does have a 0.4 obsidian nozzle in it. So it does make it a little bit harder to see when my lights aren't working, so I'll have to figure that. Hey, Zombie, how are you doing? Yeah, so panel-wise, I did add the back panel so that I could get my Bowden tube routing. I've got the filament spool holder on it on the back here as well. I had the top on it, but I did take the top back off because rather than being clear, I got the smoky type, so it'd make it a little bit harder to see. But when I opened up my panel package, I realized that I only have one side panel. So I had to send a note to the person that sent me the panels to see if I can get another one. Yeah, it's okay. It can be a PLA printer for right now. I've got a 2.4 and a 0G behind me and a V0 that can print ABS, so I'm good. But yeah, the little Nomi display, I mean, it's kind of a, it's kind of neat. I like it, but I know it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea. But I wanted to throw it on a printer just to see what it looks like. What do you guys think of the dragon? The dragons on the tool head there. Yeah, so the color choice here is Sparta 3D. I'm going to step back from the fans again. It's Sparta 3D Sparkle Fluorescent Red and Sparta 3D Sparkle Old Copper. So I think that color scheme worked pretty well. I do like it. And then let me see, Saturday, we're going to do something different. We're not going to do a printer build. So Saturday, what we're going to work on is building an Ivan Miranda mini tank. And so let me see if I can pull up that page and I'll show you what that'll look like. Yeah. So you go here, and there you go. So this is what we'll be building on Saturday. I have all the parts printed out. The only thing I still have left to do is, where's my phone? The only thing I have left to do is get some light in here just to see what my first layer is looking like. Doing better. And UPS just delivered 2 packages. Yeah. So, hey, Western One, how are you doing today? So we've got the Trident moving and printing. On the last stream, I did check all the heaters were working right. I PID tuned the hot end and the bed. I made sure that everything was moving in the right orientation and able to home. And starting this stream, I had loaded filament, purged the filament, but I had not actually printed anything with this printer until this stream. So this is the first print. Hey, Stephen Poole, how are you doing, my friend? Welcome on in. And then what you're seeing in the bottom right of your screen is going to be the project that we're going to work on Saturday. This is an Ivan Miranda mini tank. And so I've got all the parts printed out for it. I've cut all the rods and the 8mm or the M8 threaded rod and all that good stuff. So I have everything I need for it except for the receiver to go with the remote from my Death Racer. So I got to get that from Evil Diesel so we can work. In fact, I'm going to try and get Evil Diesel over here on Saturday to join me on the stream so that he can do all that good stuff. Printed a giant sprue of spacers. Yeah, well, I do have the spacers printed for it as well, and I will be wearing one of my 2 Ivan Miranda shirts for the stream. So we will kind of go off kilter and do that. And then we've got a couple of Rook kits that came in. So we've got the Fabrico Rook kit, as well as the Fabrico Rook 2020 frame kit. And my plan is to build the Rook kit as it comes. So standard printed Rook. I printed the parts in ABS for it. And then I'm going to do a self-source build on the Rook 2020 frame. So I will be printing the parts for that over the next week or so as we build the original Rook. So I'll have my self-source Rook Mark 1, a Fabrico Rook kit, a Rook 2020, and I may have another Rook kit coming sometime in August. Somebody made me a deal I couldn't refuse. Hey, Monlight, how are you doing? How are you doing? You finally got your paws on a Raspberry Pi 4 gig for not much more than the actual cost. That's good. I wouldn't. I mean, you really don't need it. The Pi 3B works just fine. There's no need to. In fact, with the cost of Pi 4s, I personally wouldn't put it on a printer. I would use a Pi 4 for something else. In fact, this printer right here is running on a CB1 module, a Big Tree Tech CB1 module, running on a, darn it, that came loose again. So let me stop that. Yeah, the Pi shortage is almost over. So that's good. Let me see. It might be a little too squished. I'm not going to try blue tape, John Trent, but I just realized I have yet to wipe this down. I haven't done anything with this sheet, so I probably need to wipe it down. So with alcohol, let me clear off the little ooze, because I'm sure there'll be a little bit of ooze there. Grab some paper towel. Goat Toaster, thank you for the subscribe. Thanks for using your Bezo bucks. I appreciate it. So we'll go ahead and try and clean this a little bit. I didn't see the feet you printed, Mod Light. Did you post it in the Discord? Yeah, you definitely need some heat sinks for the pies or some good cooling going across them. Now, putting it in your RetroPie might be good if you're tapping out on your RetroPie processor. Okay. The other thing that I might be having is just the overall speed. I may have to slow it down a little bit since this is a fairly small print. I mean, I could just break down and do a cube, but I was trying to do at least a little something here. So yeah, we're gonna build the Ivan Miranda mini tank. I have been printing parts for some more of the drag racers. So anybody that was on last stream knows that I did get my drag racer up and running, and we promptly took it out and I broke it. But I mean, that's what we do with these things, right? We go out, we run them. We ripped the front wing off, and then I kind of broke the front axle. So everything else is working fine. It held up. The wheels and tires have no real noticeable wear on them yet. But the top fuel dragster was up and running. And the replacement parts that I'm printing are carbon fiber PLA. So they should be plenty sturdy. All right, well, hold on a second and let the, hopefully Kit Skyfire lets me know when the adverts are done. Oh, okay, good. Good. Yeah, I keep seeing the Mission Impossible ones, and it's like maybe the first couple were cool, but now they're just kind of getting long in the tooth. Um, I am I am going to drop the speed down just a bit. Oppenheimer, I think, will be good. I still need to see the Transformers. I still want to see the latest Guardians of the Galaxy. But I haven't been going to the movies a lot lately. Um, what the next season of Foundation should be starting up on Apple, and um, Ahsoka's coming out what in August, mid-August. So I'm looking forward to those. Oh yeah. So they showed up and walked, got pictures taken and left, right? Yeah. Well, like I said, it's supposed to be good, but it's kind of like the Fast and the Furious. The first couple were really cool, and then the next five were more of the same, and it's just kind of eh. After a while, it's just like Jaws 18 or uh, Friday the 13th, number 28. It's kind of like eh. He comes and he kills people. Gotcha. So that last one looked like it was a little too squished when I was looking at the bottom of the print. So I did raise it back up, 0. 0.05. Um, but I think part of it is just trying to slow it down some. Yeah, that first layer was looking a lot better. Yeah, yeah. And then what is it? It's the new Flash. I think it's the Flash movie that a lot of people are saying like, "Oh God, this is bad," because they start bringing back different Batmans and stuff throughout time. Um, yeah, no, I get it. After a while, it's just more of the same. See if we can get a little bit further now that we cleaned the bed, so we may have gotten any manufacturing crud and oils off of it and stuff. So yeah, like I want to see the Flash movie just to see some of the stuff, but yeah, I just hope I won't be disappointed by it. Um, so while this starts printing, you want to see something else that's cool? Just pop this off right before the stream. So I am getting some weird banding on it again. I don't know why. So I'm going to have to try and figure that out. But this was less than a roll of filament. And yeah, I don't know why. I don't know if it was something with the table it's on or what have you, but I'm getting some weird banding and some ringing. So I'm gonna have to redo the input shaper on that machine downstairs. That came off of the Ender 5 Plus size 0G. So I may have to go and check the belt tensions again and then redo input shaper. Okay. Spider pig, spider pig. Yeah, we're doing a Cali dragon. But yeah, spider pig, doing what a spider pig does. I don't know, I can't sing. But yeah, next up for this will be to just print with it, kind of burn it in and get some time on it. Like I said, Saturday the plan is to build the Ivan Miranda mini tank. And then starting next Tuesday, we'll start the Rook build. Depending on how things go, we may do Rook, then Rook 2020, or we may do Rook, Ender 3 belt printer conversion, then the Rook 2020. Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, so we do have a few builds that are stacked up now. So we've got a Rook build from Fabrico's kit, a Rook 2020 frame that came from Fabrico as well, that we're going to do a separate build with rather than combine it. So I paid for the Rook kit, and Fabrico added the 2020 frame and another build plate for it. So I will build the second one self-sourced. And then something that just arrived today that I purchased was a Enderbelt 45 conversion kit from belt3dprinters.com, belt3dprinterskit.com. So we'll do that. I was trying to find a new Ender donor for that because I don't want to tear apart either one of my Ender wires. And the guy that I was looking to get it from ghosted me on Facebook Marketplace. So I'm like, okay, my OG tried and true heavily modified Ender 3 is going to go through one more metamorphosis. This Ender 3 has well over 4,000 print hours on it. I've had it that long. So it's going to see a new iteration, and we will be doing the belt printer with that. Then I just finalized some terms for an LDO Motors 2.4 kit. I just don't know when it's going to get here. And another kit that will be coming along from LDO Motors. So yeah, we're getting some builds stacked up. Oh, 2 clogs in the PTFE and then 1 at the nozzle. All right. I don't know if that was just crappy filament or some bad settings mod light, but that's kind of rough. Kind of rough. Yeah, so what are some other things that we got that we can use on some builds? I do have a couple of orbiters sitting on the shelf now. I still have the trad rack that I need to install on something, so that will probably be going on our 0G Mercury build. So that'll give me a second MMU setup that I can play with. Oh, cool, gotcha. Yes, yes, and that's yeah, that's one of those things is you got to be careful of too much retraction, because what could happen, especially on a file where it does a lot of retracts or like Z hops and jumping around where you have retract on Z hop, is as it does these little bits, it keeps doing a retract, and it could actually retract it up into or out of the hot zone, the melt zone, and it starts to harden within the throat on the cool side of your hot end. I actually have a dragon and a dragonfly that are clogged like that I'm going to have to take apart and possibly throw the heat breaks out and just buy new heat breaks. That'll probably be the easiest way to deal with it. The other thing that you can get if you get it in the Bowden tube is if you are like doing a filament change and you don't pay attention and you get it up into the Bowden tube and you get distracted for whatever reason, yeah, and it cools in that Bowden tube, you get the tip will bulge out and it could get stuck in your Bowden tubes. That's why all of my reverse Bowdens like this here is a 3 millimeter inside diameter. I have pretty much gone away from definitely the tighter tolerance, like was it the XS cap tubes, because especially for those little bits that go between the extruder and the tool head, I get too many problems there with the tip getting too bulbous and getting stuck. Yeah. Okay. Somebody clip that. Okay. Yeah. So I mean that really is a big issue is if you've got a PTFE lined hot end, that's another reason why I say when you work on the PTFE tubes, you want to make sure that your ends are perfectly flat. They've got to be perfectly flat. So you get a good, I'll say, butt joint with the nozzle, and then take some type of deburring tool and just do a couple of twists to chamfer that in. That way, any type of tip, a little bit of a bulge on the tip, can still get pulled into the tube. If not, over time and heat cycles, especially on a PTFE lined hot end, this tube will actually shrink and it'll leave a little bit of a gap, and that chamfer buys you just a little bit where you won't get a jam. But these, you do need to replace these occasionally on a PTFE lined hot end or anything else where it's close, because they will shrink over time. And due to heat cycles in a hot end, they will lose their lubricity. So they are consumables. You will have to replace those. Cool, my light. Yeah, 3 months it shouldn't be going bad. If it went bad in 3 months, that's where I said it might be a slicing issue where you're running it too hot or your retract or something like that may have played a factor into it as well. But it seems like cleaning that bed, and like I said, I did ramp it down a little bit just to make sure that we weren't trying to go too fast on a little print. Yeah, and like I said, my personal suggestion, because I did start running the higher tolerance Capricorn PTFE, and I started having issues, like I said, due to the tips when you're changing filament, causing some problems. Hey, Pez Liz, how are you doing? It is not Iron Man. The printer's name is Iron Dragon. Everybody keeps calling it Iron Man, but it's Iron Dragon. Yeah, I get it. Copper and red. Oh, wow, you had a tornado warning all the way up there. Wow. Dragon Man. Yes. Iron Dragon, Hidden Tiger. There you go. Yeah, Westry. How's the shield going, Westry? Or have you been too busy playing Destiny 2? You're going to steal this printer? Well, you got to come get it. You'd have to come get it. Um, for those of you yeah, yeah, plead the fifth, Westry, plead the fifth. How's my little girl Mia doing? Um, so for those of you that were listening on the last couple of streams, you'll know that I was looking at getting another camera. So for Prime Day deals, I did order another Brio 4K, which is this camera right here, and the plan will be to somehow get it mounted up above me so it looks down over the table for some top-down views for during the builds. So that should get here Saturday. It will not be ready for stream Saturday because I'm still going to have to figure out how to get it mounted up on the ceiling or get some type of boom system where I will still have both this camera and the one above. So I've got to figure out that system. But hopefully soon we'll have a third view that'll be a top-down view. Yeah, just some duct tape. No big deal. It'll just rip off the drywall. I'm going to have to re-drywall the ceiling at some point, but okay, Monlight. Oh, Pezla's, there's no way she would trade Mia for a printer. No way. Oh gosh, I don't know how hot it was there. It was like 94 degrees here. In fact, it's 6:20 and it's still 91 degrees here. So, okay, Westbury. Yeah. Yep, no, see that. Oh, uh-oh. How's that go for Moko? Raid, 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 raid. Hey, Humbler John, how are you doing? Holy cow. Hey, Moko Maid, thank you all for coming in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Give me a second here. Let me switch camera views. Welcome in, Raiders. My name is Digital Dragon, aka Luke, and welcome to the Dragon's Den. Here in the Dragon's Den, we do various things with 3D printing, primarily. We build printers. We're working on a Voron Trident here, getting the first print out today. It's kind of hard to see, but we have several printers throughout the room. We do some cosplay prints, some helmets, some small projects. This is a Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine Chaplain's helmet. Today we are working on our Voron Trident. This is the first print that's ever coming off this printer. But yeah, we like to do things with 3D printing here, whether it's building printers or printing all kinds of toys with it. Hey, Waffle Queen Toys, thank you for the follow. Was it Kim for the Day? Thank you for the follow. Dagon's Universe, thank you for the follow. Winsing19, thank you for the follow. Oh, thank you all for coming on in. And we'll just go with XS. Thank you for the follow. Thank you, Ash Prince. I try to make some cool things here and there. So yeah, thank you guys for the raid. Thank you for sharing your community with me and being willing to share the community with me. I appreciate that a lot. So this is my latest build. This is a Voron Trident. This is a 300 size printer. So it's 300 in the X, 300 in the Y, 270-ish in the height that it can print. I might not be able to get a full helmet on here just because I'm limited in height. But this is my latest build. The color scheme for this printer is Sparta 3D, Sparkle Fluorescent Red, and Sparta 3D Sparkle Old Copper. So everybody calls it the Iron Man build, and I say no. We're the Dragon Den here. So we're calling it Iron Dragon. I will get a name plate put back here on the back gantry at some point. Let me go ahead and pan you guys up and down a little bit so you can get the total view. So back here, this is a Nevermore. This is a carbon filtration system. So once we get our panels on and we're fully enclosed, we'll be able to run ABS or other prints and make sure that we get any VOCs cleaned out. But yeah, this is our latest build on the channel. So yeah, welcome in everybody. So Moko Maid, what were you all working on today other than just all kinds of crazy shenanigans? Excuse me, I'm going to have to grab a little bit of water. So, oiling up some leather for a new order, and you are painting some sneakies. Okay, so you're still working on the custom painted sneakers, right? You were doing the custom painted Nikes the other day, and your brother was doing the leather belt loop holders for the potion bottles, right? Yep, the new green ones. I saw that the other day. Those were looking really nice. Yeah. So I appreciate it. Thank you all for coming over here. Not a problem. Not a problem. Like I said, I love everybody that makes stuff, and I am trying to branch out and do more and more things. I guess now that I'm getting older, I'm finding some more time, and I'm trying to keep myself busy. My wife tells me I have an addictive personality, so I think this is printer 17 or so. It's to the point where I've actually had my buddy who lives 10 minutes away, Evil Diesel. He's got two of my printers over there at Site B, so that he can start printing some stuff for our show and for Earth. It may be a steel trap, but in a couple of days, I would have lost that bit of knowledge, Creatix Brit. So I am getting a little older, so it keeps dropping off. Yeah, it's Site B. So eventually, I want to get some property, and this is my big dreams. I want to get some property, 10, 20, 40 acres, and I want to actually have a like a 40 by 60 post frame on it that has a big open bay lower area that I can drive vehicles in and out of, because I'll use it for hunting. But I want all my woodworking tools out there so it's easier to work on projects. And that includes my CNC, the laser, and other woodworking tools, and then have like a true studio and 3D print area upstairs. Hey, Capricorn Bone Tubes, how are you doing? Welcome in, welcome in. I see that Capricorn Tubes has just released some new Capricorn tubing. This is not it, but it's the 3mm inside diameter, 4mm outside diameter, which is perfect for these reverse Bowden setups. So I will need to reach out to you guys and get some on order here soon. Wow. Hey, let me see. Crafty Wins. Sorry if I butchered that. I hope I didn't. Thank you for coming in. First time Raider chat. I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much. Yeah, Craft wins. And like I said, it's to the point where here local, I've got a, oh, thank you for the follow as well. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the follow, Sweet Sugar Girl, as well. For all of you that just came in and new followers, if you wouldn't mind, please double check your notifications. I have had recently where Twitch, for whatever reason, you follow, but the notifications don't get turned on. Please do so. And for everybody that's new here, once again, my name's Digital Dragon. This is the Dragon's Den. I stream Tuesdays and Thursdays at 5 p.m. Eastern Time and Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. So we're going to pause from doing printer builds this weekend. And Saturday, our plan is, let me go ahead and pull up the window. We are going to build an Ivan Miranda mini tank on stream. I've got everything printed out. We just need to go ahead and go through the process of assembling it and getting the RC stuff installed. I need to get with Evil Diesel because unfortunately my receiver hasn't come in yet. So I need to get the stuff out of my out of my Death Racer that I took to Murph so that I can get this up and moving. But we're going to build that on stream on Saturday. So okay. A tushy. You said something about a tushy. You're toilet was bubbling during a tornado warning. That would be a tad bit scary, Pesliz. I mean, I've been through some tornado warnings in Ohio when I was stationed there, and yeah, that's a little scary. Yeah, the bidet attachment. There you go. Yep, there you go. There's your link that'll go out to Cap Tubes and let you check out some of the Cap Tubes, the Cap cord tubes they have. They also have filament. They're just not PTFE tubings. They do have filament as well. I actually believe I have some in the closet right now. So yeah, we got several projects coming up. Like I said, we're going to take a pause from our 3D printer builds because we did a Voron 2.4. We did a Mercury 0G build. In fact, let me switch views here, and I'm going to switch around here, and I'll move the camera slightly. So recently on stream, we did a Voron 2.4 build. This is Fade Dragon. The scheme on this was predetermined because I won the printed parts at Rocky Mountain Rep Rat Fest, and it is a purple and pink build color scheme. And then I was one of the few people that was able to build a beta during the closed beta of the 0G Mercury. This is a ground up fresh frame build where the 0G Mercury was designed as a mod to the Ender 5 series of printers. This is a full up new frame build that allows you to do an enclosure. They are just now opening that up for a public beta. So soon you can go out to the 0G Discord and sign up for their public beta. Actually, I believe it's open today. You can go out there and sign up if you're interested in doing one of those builds. You will have to do some work. You can buy you can either purchase your aluminum extrusions wherever you'd like, but you would have to be willing to tap the ends of the extrusion yourself. You'll have to measure, punch, and drill the blind joint holes yourself. But it's a very enjoyable build. Let's see. We have a place here in Raleigh, North Carolina called Shop Space. And Shop Space is pretty much a maker space. So they have classes on metal fabrication, which in this case is MIG and TIG welding. They have classes on forging, and that's, basic forging of like leaves and tongs. They have a knife making class. They just opened some new classes on doing Damascus billets. I think axes and hammers. They also have metal jewelry making classes. And they just started expanding their space. So I've gone and done some of those classes to basically start learning some new skills that I can do with my hands. Because once again, if I'm going to try and go and get some property, I'm going to have some confidence that I can fix some things on my own, right? So we're still on the bidet, huh? Yeah. Bidets are all fun until the 6-year-old turns it on. Yeah. You don't necessarily need a special setup, but I will say you'll probably want an all metal hot end, and you might want a hardened nozzle. So when you start getting into your sparkly type filaments, your wood filaments, your glow in the dark filaments, glow in the darks are abrasive. The wood filaments depending on how they're made, may be abrasive as well. You know, a lot of people think, oh, glass-filled, carbon fiber-filled filaments are the abrasives. Wood can be. Glow-in-the-darks are. And some of your like sparkle or galaxy or whatever that have the sparkly flakes in them can be abrasive. It depends on what they're using to get that sparkle in. In which case you would want to, at the very least, use a plated nozzle or a hardened nozzle. Yeah. And then when you use a hardened nozzle, if you're using a hardened steel nozzle or like an Undertaker carbide nozzle, you'll want to probably raise your temperatures up 5 to 10 degrees because steel and tungsten have different thermal properties than your standard copper nozzle. Like even on the obsidian nozzles, you need to raise the temps up 5 to 10 degrees or more. So when you do that, run some temp towers to figure out where your new settings should be. Yes. Oh, you're coming out with a new wood filament. Awesome, Capricorn. Yeah, feel free to tell us about that stuff. That would be cool. Yeah, you said this is on a V6 hot end mod light? Okay, what 2 new colors are coming out if you can share, Capricorn? So mod light, if you're using either a chirality style or I think you said you were using an E3D V6, DM me on Discord. I've got some all metal throats and some hardened nozzles I can give you. Yeah, just DM me on Discord or Twitter or whatever. Message me on Twitter, and we can take that one offline. I've got stuff I can get you. I'll just need to definitely double check what it is that you need, and I can get something in the mail to you. Yep, work comes first. Work comes first. Yes, solid orange cap tubes. Which reminds me, darn it, Westery, I never did. I meant to bring the rest of that PTFE tubing that you sent with the printer, and I ran off and left it sitting here. So the next care package I send your way, if I remember, you know, because I am getting old, I'll put that in the I'll put it in the box with it. I can use it. Okay, I can put it to use. I can put it to use. So how are you doing today, Subsector? Hope all is going well. Hey, the Mitch, thank you for the follow. Welcome in, welcome in. Appreciate you all coming in. Oh, no problem, Subsector. Pay attention to driving. What are you trying to get at Manor Hackers, Kit Skyfire? I got a gift card to spend. Gotcha. You know, yeah, speaking of gift cards, so my work, we do these things called connected recognition. And it's basically, a dollar value that you can turn into gift cards or whatever to restaurants or what have you. And Amazon's one of the things that you can use it on. So I get one of these, and it's during Amazon Prime days. I just ordered the new camera, and then I realized, I was like, hey, why am I not getting meeting notifications? I got it on my phone or on my watch, but I didn't get it. It didn't pop up on my screen. And then I realized I don't have my work email up on my work laptop. So I opened my work email, and I see that I was given a connected recognition. I was like, geez, I could have used that to pay for the camera. So yeah, I definitely have a gift card that I need to, well, convert it to a gift card and then use it. So yeah. And then of course I used my affiliate link with Polymaker to order stuff from Polymaker during their summer restock. And that's the one thing that's it's great that they use Amazon. It stinks that you place this large order and then it comes from like 8 different sites. So it's all broken up. So it trickles in, and I'll be getting filament for like 4 days in a row. But one of the things I did buy was the 10 kilograms of draft PLA. So I've got like 20 something kilograms of filament coming in. Like I needed more filament, but I've got some projects that I want to do. Oh, nice. That's cool, Kit Skyfire. That's pretty awesome. Thanks, Mitch. Yeah, so this is my first Trident build, though I have built a couple of zero Gs. I have an Inner 5 Plus that I converted to a zero G with a Hydra, which is the 3 lead screw kinematic system. And I've got a zero G that's kind of hidden by the Trident on the main bottom right screen, that I actually had it at Murph. It's the one that was sitting on the KB3D booth. Yeah, exactly. And there was 2 colors I wanted that I couldn't get, Kit Skyfire, because they were already sold out. Um, oh, nice, Mind Light. Good, good, good. And that was the one that we were trying to figure out exactly which ones you need and what size. So yeah, good. Glad you got those on order. Gotcha. And I still have, um, so I just ordered a bunch of Polymaker, and I still have a coupon for $175 worth of filament because I got Hue Forge commercial license. So I can get even more filament. So I'm just waiting for them after their restock. I think they got just slammed for a bunch of it. So I'm going to wait for Polymaker to restock so that I can get some other colors that I need to fill in so I can start doing some good Hue Forge stuff. Awesome. So, okay, good. Or sorry, awesome on light that Open Builds was happy to tell you exactly what you needed. They're not the cheapest to get extrusion and stuff from, but it works. All right, so let's go ahead and pop this off. And We do have a little bit of stringing, but the filament here has been out for quite a while. So you do see a little bit of stringing up there. But all in all, let me see if I can get some good views of layer lines here. Come on. I mean, our Cali Dragon came out really well. I really need some better lighting for this. Yep. First print did well. Like I said, some of the stringing up here into the antlers, I could possibly tune it out. It might just be some retraction settings. But this filament has been out for a little while. And I am sitting at like 50+% humidity in this room. So not bad to have a few little wisps here and there. Not bad at all. Let me reach under here and, oh, nice. Because we do nozzle probing with this setup on the Trident, because we're using the tap, you do want to make sure that you get any little extra extrusion that pops off the nozzle before you start another print. We need a little bit of ooze. At some point, I think I may try and put a nozzle brush on this and add into the macro so it does its initial heat up, then it runs the nozzle brush before it does anything else. New colors are coming in August. Okay. I don't know if it's stacked or not. I didn't want to take the chance, so I just went ahead and bought a bunch of filament on the discount. Let me go ahead and get another print going. And we're going to keep with the dragon theme. Okay, print. Yeah, in fact, talking about car parts and stuff, yeah, you definitely want to use something that is, depending on where it's going to be at in the car and whether they have like tinted windows and all that, you know, ASA would be good for anything that's going to be in the cabin of the car. And then, of course, your nylon or polycarbonate would be great for other things because it still has the higher temp resistance. And I actually printed a couple of different holders. One of my coworkers has a Ford Maverick that she just bought used. And I printed a bunch of little things for her, like cup holders and cubbies and stuff that fits in the Mavericks. They actually have parts that you can 3D print on the Ford store for your Maverick. So Ash ABS doesn't have the UV resistance that ASA does. So if it's going to be in a car, I would probably say ASA or potentially polycarbonate. But yeah, like I said, it depends where in the car it's going. Like if it's going to be in the cabin, I would go with ASA, unless it's a newer vehicle, because most newer vehicles have some form of UV protection built into the windshields, or actually all the windows. Um, yeah, and that's what I'm saying is under the hood, ASA, ABS, nylon, polycarbonate should be good. In the cabin or the seating area, you ASA would probably be better because you've got the heat resistance and the UV resistance. Well, you say they're away from the heat, but like in the summer, if they're at work and they're parked in a non-shaded area, you're going to get real high temps in your car. So that's the other thing that you have to be cognizant of is the temperatures in a vehicle that's closed up and sitting in a parking lot somewhere. So okay, your ASA is away from the heat. Gotcha. And is this something that you like sell on Etsy or whatever, or is this just stuff that you're printing for your car? Exactly, Kit Skyfire. I was born and raised in Florida, so yeah, I know the joys of like being in high school in an 83 Ford Escort with vinyl seats, or worse yet, being at the beach and you were smart enough that you threw a towel over the steering wheel, right? But you weren't smart enough that you actually put a towel over the seat. So you're out frolicking on the beach, young high schooler having fun at the beach, you know, tomfoolery and all that stuff. And you get sunburned, and then you don't pay attention, and you go jump in the car right on those vinyl seats that have been baking in the Florida sun for the last, 5, 6, 8 hours. And you get your, like third degree burns from it or whatever, or what feels like third degree burns. Um, God, I miss those days. Oh, nice. A rebuild of a 70 Chevelle SS. Yeah, feel free to share those on Discord, my friend. Yeah, and the only thing worse than Florida was Arizona. Like when I was stationed at Tucson, Arizona, out at Davis Monthan, like there wasn't any place in Arizona other than inside a house with the AC kicked on that you didn't feel like you were not melting, you know, in the car, on the street, on the sidewalk. It was just bad. Okay, Westbury, go feed the horses. Give them some carrots. Um, you know, I I enjoyed my high school years. I had fun in my high school years. Um, we grow older and we're like, God, adulting kind of sucks. When you're a young kid, you want to be an adult so you can do all the cool things. And you become an adult and you realize all the responsibilities that come with it. And we spend a lot of our adult life trying to go back and be kids again, where we were young and carefree. Like if we could have all the money and then have all the time, it would be great. I hear you there, Modlight. Like there's some 3D printed parts, like my Bugaboo parts. I'll admit they're functional, but like if I ever went to give that printer away, I'd probably reprint all the parts and redo them just because they're not up to what I feel like wanting to give to other people, right? And even this helmet here, right? So I'm going to put this in front of the printer. You know, I printed this helmet. It just came off the printer, and I see these ringing lines, right? I can see the ringing lines back here, and it drives me nuts. And I go, "Oh my God." But I could put this on the table at Murph or Irv, and people are like, "Oh my God, like how much do you charge for those?" Right? And it's just it. I mean, this is. I know this is good, but I can look at this and go, I know it can be better, and I just want to make it better, right? So I see the ringing, so I go, okay, I need to check my belt tensions again. I need to redo input shaper. I need to do this. I need to do that, and then I'll try and run it again. Yeah, I have not bought printed parts off of Etsy. I have bought some. Oh, what have I bought off of Etsy? Um, I've gotten some boards off Etsy, and I'm trying to remember which ones I got. And then these helmet files I've been showing off, my Warhammer helmet files. I bought the digital files off of a shop on Etsy. Right. So that's the stuff that I buy off Etsy. I haven't bought like 3D prints. Like there's people that buy printer parts off Etsy, like the printed pieces for a Voron or something. I'll print it myself or I'll go through the PIF. I just can't trust the stuff on Etsy to be up to the quality that I'd want to see. Yeah. Okay, yeah, like doing terrains or something like that, that people are planning on priming and painting and, doing things to. It's it's not as, like the ringing wouldn't be a problem, right? Like you can see it, but if you plan on painting it, you're not going to see it after you paint it, right? So that wouldn't be an issue for a helmet that I'm going to paint. Or if it was going to be a functional part, I need it to be strong and functional. I don't care if it's pretty, right? So, I mean, don't get me wrong, form and function, it can be nice, but yeah, yeah. So what's everybody else doing this fine Thursday evening? I know I had a couple of packages showed up downstairs that I'll be wanting to get into. So Saturday morning before we start um, the Ivan Miranda build, no, let's see, maybe after we get the Ivan Miranda tank assembled, we may throw one of the boxes up here and kind of do an open first look at the belt printer parts that come with that. But we will have I'll call it a little bit of a ceremony as we remember all the awesomeness that the Ender 3 has provided, because the Ender 3 has been my go-to printer, and it has printed like all of the ABS parts for the Voron Zero. Then once the Voron Zero was up, it was printing all the ABS parts that it could, but all the larger ABS parts that couldn't be printed on the Zero's print bed were being done on the Ender, right? So that Ender's gone through a lot. It's been heavily modified. And like I said, I've got over 4,000 print hours on it in its different iterations. And so I just have to, I'll have to get mentally ready before we go to tear that down to do the conversion, and just do a little bit of proper respect to it before we do that. You got to, you know, as we would say in the Warhammer universe, you have to give proper respect to the machine spirit. Oh, hey, Royal Nomi. You're running errands. Okay. Well, be careful if you're out running errands. My light, that printer has been with me seven years, I think. So yeah, it's you got to give some respect, especially when it's an OG Ender 3. Like it's a first gen Ender 3. And it's been through a bit. Hey, Pete Saus, how are you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. The heat is messing with cell towers. I still haven't figured out how heat would mess with, like radio waves, but okay. I'm doing good. I am starting to settle down now. You will notice, for those of you that have been here, I am not drinking coffee. So there you go, Royal Nomi. You will know that my wife, the love of my life, she has a stream order on speed dial for Dunkin' Donuts. Large coffee, 10 munchkins, right? I had to tell her, do not go get me coffee today. Because I've had, normally when I drink coffee throughout the day, it's half regular, half decaf. Because I have had some heart stuff in the past, and I've lost a lot of weight, but I've had some health stuff in the past. So I'm supposed to watch my caffeine intake. And I've had 2 large cups of Starbucks coffee today on a relatively empty stomach, basically a protein shake and then 2 cups of coffee. So I've been kind of pinging and jittery and shaking most of the day. So I've been trying to get some other food in me and non-caffeinated liquids. So I love that emote because that is me. Like I said, I'm always drinking coffee. Yeah, and I've had. So I will say it was so bad back in my military days that the doctors actually, actually told my NCO to keep me out of the coffee fund because I was sitting there drinking like 2 or 3 pots of coffee a day. So yeah, yes, I live off caffeine. Um, Yep. Your 20-year-old toddler. Your mini me. Yes, Pete. This is the Big Tree Tech Nomi, Nomi screen on the tool head. Right now, here, I'll bring you guys in a little bit closer. So it is giving us the print percentage. Okay. It does have a homing screen. It has a heat up for the bed, a heat up screen for the nozzle. It does have a bed leveling screen, but the macro, I cannot get it to work with camp. So I just haven't figured out how to make it work with camp yet. So I'll have to figure it out. The install process was pretty easy. The biggest thing, I want to say it was I think it was last stream. If you go back, I will suggest going to the YouTube channel. So Digital Dragon 72 on YouTube, and you can scroll through the streams a little bit easier because last stream, it stopped at some point, and so it's broken up and Twitch wouldn't let me upload a 20 gig file. So go to YouTube and check out the stream on the YouTube channel. But I do install it, I believe, in the last stream. It's the all about the heads or something was the stream title, and we were dealing with the display and the tool heads. And that's where I do the Nomi install. And the biggest thing is the Nomi screen talks to your Raspberry Pi. So the Nomi gets power from, in this case, the SB2209 toolhead board that I have in here. So it's drawing 5-volt power from the toolhead board, but it talks to your controller over wireless. Exactly. So you'll do the install. You'll get your printer turned on and whatever. And once you have the IP address, in this little notch right here where my finger is, you can get an Allen key in and just hold the boot button down for a count to 5. And then you would go to anything that's on anything that's Wi-Fi enabled. So I went on my phone and you join the, I think it's Big Tree or BTT-Nomi. So you basically join its access point and you give it your Wi-Fi name, your Wi-Fi password, and the IP address of the printer, and then it connects. And that's it. There's 2 macros that you can copy and paste. One's for homing and one's for bed mesh. Okay, Nomi, thanks for the alert. Be safe while you're driving. We want Nomi to stay safe. And yes, by the way, Nomi, I do have a yard demon keeping an eye on my printer. Oh, Westery, if you're still on, the other night, I guess it was Thursday night. So on Tuesday night, you did a lurk, and it said, Westery 1 dropped the filament spool and is undoing a huge tangle. And Mrs. Dragon was on and was like, "Oh no! Oh my God!" And I was like, "No, that's just OM 3D throws that out there. It's kind of a little messy. She really didn't drop the spool." She was like, "Oh my God, I was so worried that she did." So that's funny because she's seen me let a spool untangle and have to manually like respool it on, like I had to manually respool an entire roll onto a new spool because it was so clustered. So yeah, she about had a heart attack when she saw that. So here, I'm going to pick you guys up and show you this one as it's printed. Whoa, sorry about that. So this is actually, oh, where am I at here? There we go. This is actually a dragon symbol design. So I pulled this off printables. I'm not sure who it was, but I'll try and figure it out. But yeah, this is a cool little dragon design. I'll have to throw this up on the wall of the dragon den. You've let a spool bounce before and Steve got so mad. Uh-oh. Yeah, it's not good when you bounce spools or let them unravel. I'm trying to figure out how to do a remote printer. What do you mean by a remote printer? Like accessible from outside your house or accessible over the LAN? So the USB-C port on the Nomi can be used to power it up because it only requires 5 volts. It's there so that you can program it. So in the Nomi literature, you can go out to a GitHub page and they have the specs where you can actually create your own screen images and animations. So you can add other animations into the printer and make it your own. There was somebody, I want to say it was like Psycho 3D on Twitter. I think that's who it was that was showing like the Matrix, data stream rain on their Nomi running off of their Raspberry Pi. So yeah, I mean, it's a neat little screen and you do not have to install it in your toolhead. You can buy the Nomi and just mount it anywhere and have it do the same thing. You're just going to have to power it from, you're going to have to provide power to it, whether that's running a 5-volt wire to it or running a USB to it, and you can mount that screen anywhere. It doesn't have to be in the toolhead. You can actually like mount it, somewhere up here and be feeding it chamber temp and humidity if you've got the right sensor there to grab the info. So for something like this where I'm running Clipper, I don't have a camera installed on this particular printer, but I have a camera plugged into the Mercury downstairs. I've got a camera mounted in the Mercury up here, and you can set that camera up to be available in mainsail through Clipper. You can set the camera up to be available in your Octoprint, if you're using Octoprint. And the key, though, is making it accessible outside of your network. So if you're out of the house, how do you get in? To do that, your best bet is to do some type of VPN, but you're opening up stuff to your printer, to the network, to the internet. That might be somewhat bad if it's a camera directly connected to your controller, because somebody can then take over your camera and get into your controller and mess with your printer. Or you can go and literally buy an IP-based camera, like a Ring camera or something, that is not connected to your printer. Therefore, if somebody hacks into your camera, they still can't take control and overrun a heater or something like that and burn your house down. Yeah, if you got a VPN tunnel and you're confident of your security setups, great. I'm a security guy by trade, so I've been known to play with Kali Linux and a few other tools on the regular. But even I don't expose my printers to the internet. I know I can secure things, but it just takes once for them to get in. So, okay, Mello has one. Um, Pete, I don't know why. I mean, they connect over your wireless network to the printer. I don't know why you couldn't have multiple. The UV camera, yeah. Yeah, that's I mean, personally, if I needed to see it when I'm not at home, then yeah, I would do a an IP based camera rather than one connected to the controller. Um, and even like the what is it, the Mention, the one that kind of looks like a dog. I think that one even needs to still be connected to your printer. And this is printing pretty nicely. Very happy with it. I mean, it's Voron quality. Get the first layer right, and boom, you're good. Yeah, the Mention Beagle. Yeah. No, I have a Beagle Bone. In fact, I've got the Beagle Bone and oh, what was the name? There was a controller that was specifically designed as a hat for the Beagle Bone Black, and it had a can't remember what that was. I have a Beagle Bone Black and that 3D printer controller hat that sat on it, and I never did actually install it and get anything running on it. I may pull that out of the bag one day when I don't have 50 other projects going on. Yeah. In fact, let me go rummage around real fast and grab it because now you got me thinking. The replicate. Yes, the replicate. I want to say maybe it was using RepRap firmware or no. It was running SmoothieWare, I think. In fact, I may have to I may actually have to use the Wayback Machine to see if I can find the software for this and see if I can ever get it to work. Though I wonder if Flipper will run on it because it is a 32-bit microcontroller. I'd have to get the pin designations though from somewhere. All right. See if I can get these two separated. Well, anyhow, this is the board, and it plugs onto the BeagleBone Black. So the BeagleBone acts as the the controller, and then the top board here actually does all the lifting, and it's running. I gotta try and figure out what drivers it was running. Come on, there we go. TMC 2100 drivers. Yeah, so it had TMC 2100 drivers, five motors. You'd have all your power and stuff coming in this way. This would be like all your end stops and your thermistors, your motors over here. But yeah, it was pretty cool because, like I said, it just nested on top of the BeagleBone, and then you've got your extra connectors popping up, so that you could still stack more stuff on it. But yeah, and yeah, like I said, it was Replicate and it was running SmoothieWare, and I'm not even sure if SmoothieWare is still even available or a thing. I'll have to check. Yeah, the Trident, like I said, it's doing pretty good. It's shaking pretty good too. It's definitely cooking. And oh yeah, I had dropped the speed down. Let me see about bringing the speed back up to 100%. Probably won't notice it too much until it starts doing a big loop. Now, I'm not sure if the Oh, hey. Yeah, it's so Seed Studio looks like they may have the Rev V board available. The Replicate docs are still out on GitHub. So yeah, it's yeah, you still got smoothieware.org. Okay. Yeah, so I guess I kind of fell off on this as far as keeping an eye on everything. I may have to see if I can't get that going somewhere. Oh dear God, they've got links literally to an IRC channel, an internet relay chat channel. Wow. 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 That's all I can say to that. I haven't been out on the internet relay chats in over a decade, probably 2 decades, if that. You have an IRC server still? Wow. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure it's still there, but I haven't been out on IRC in so long. I remember being out there on IRC channels back in the good old days. What was it with GeoCities and AOL and yeah. Okay, we've got a tip over here that's kind of peeled up and warped up a bit, but everything else is staying stuck down. Okay, you got the Gerbil CNC shield. Nice. I think I have that one as well. And I also have Nicholas Bartnick, who designed the Indie Mill. He had a controller shield for that. And I have a couple of those. It's the type of shield that I bought it with all the parts and I actually have to solder the terminals on myself. But I took that on as a little project. So I'll have a couple of CNC shields, and I've wanted to build a CNC here as well. I've got my Shape Oko and I've got a 3018, but I've always wanted to build a different one, like maybe build one of Ivan Miranda's CNCs. Well, like he's got some cool stuff there. Yeah, there's a Rev 4. Yep, Rev 4. I did see that. It looked like there's a couple of pretty cool updates to that board. That'll be nice. Okay, so about halfway, yeah, about halfway done with the print. Yeah, 1 or 3, 5. Just get a baker's dozen. How long's the sale going on? If you know. Yep. Excuse me, folks. Okay, running your hydroponic sensors. Gotcha. Okay. No, I have to look at that. I have to look at that. And of course, make sure that it would work with existing shields. Because the last thing we need is for them to change a pin out or something like that and jack some things up. Probably could have went with a lot less infill on this, but oh well. All right, cool. Yeah, this definitely shakes a bit more than the 2.4 because once again the 2.4 the bed's mounted at the bottom. So all of that weight is sitting low. We're here with having a large bed at the top. And the same thing happens on my 0G on downstairs with the 5 Plus. You've got all that weight up high. So as you start cranking up the speed, it's top heavy. So it can start moving around a lot more because it's so top heavy. It almost like might be worth I was thinking if you know if you had something that was heavy and I was thinking, well, I think tungsten's the heaviest, but that's expensive. But even if you just ran tungsten down the center channels of your lower extrusions, you would add more weight to the bottom, which would potentially counterbalance some of this heavy weight all the way at the top with the bed. Just a thought, but that's more of a speed run thing. Yes. Yes. Yeah, and that's kind of one of the reasons why I bought a couple of the Big Tree Tech Pi boards. It's the same processor as the CB1 modules, but that board can take up to 24-volt input. So you can run direct power to it, and that would get rid of either a buck converter or a DC to DC converter or a separate power supply to run it. The downside is that all the connectors are kind of flipped. So it still has the same 40 pin as a normal Pi, but it's on the opposite edge of the board for whatever reason. That was weird. And I was going to use it for this build, but the mounting holes, there's 3 of the mounting holes are in the same place, but one mounting hole is off. So you would need a different mount for it. And I'm sure somebody's going to come up with one. And it shouldn't be that hard to cat it out. I just, need to learn the tools to do so. So once again, I still need to put the bottom electronics panel on this. And of course, the side panel, the rest of the panels on the upper decks. It just doesn't make sense to let me put the top, let me put the doors on when I have one side still missing. So I need to try and get hold of another side. Yeah, so I need to try and get hold of that vendor. If not, I'll reach out to Chris at KB3D and see if he can get me one smoked side panel. Oh yeah. And there is a mod for the Trident that will allow you to do the drop slung electronics panel like the 0G Mercury. The Z brackets are slightly different. These brackets come off. The Z brackets be slightly different. So the shelf is moved underneath and the deck panel will sit on those shelves in the corners. But, the nice thing about that is you can lift this deck up and work on the electronics if you're doing any further mods, where it kind of sucks to flip these over on their side, even more so when you start putting panels on them, because you no longer have things that you can grab hold of easily when you do it. So yeah, I mean, if you've got a place where you can mount the den rail, or even if you have the electronics, depending on how the setup is, right? Like on my CNC table, there's a part of me that would want to mount the electronics like underneath the table, like put all the electronics hanging on den rail underneath the bench, and then have the the necessary cables run down to it, or just do a full control box setup. And when you do the control box, I've watched people that have mounted everything on, directly, bolt through or bolt into like a wooden cabinet. I'm like, mount a DIN rail, mount everything to the DIN rail. I mean, there's mounts for everything that you can mount it to a DIN rail. Okay, it's going through and doing that, I'll say that first sparse infill layer, which means it's going to be doing like full layers again versus infill. Oh yeah, everything on the Voron, like the standard Voron design, is DIN rail. Yeah, so the Vorons are DIN rail, the 0Gs are DIN rail, the I think the Annex Engineering backpack is still DIN rail. So yeah. Yep, the Pi is mounted to DIN rail as well. Yep. Okay, so our print's getting close to the end. I think we got about another 15 or so minutes, 15, 20 minutes to go on the print. I would like to try and figure out where we want to raid into tonight, so that when this print's done, we'll go ahead and call the stream. Like I said, I'll have to put panels on it later, and I'll take pictures once I get all the panels done on it, and get those posted to Twitch and out to the Discord channel and stuff. It's just going to take me a while to get a panel. I don't want to do any of the panels until I have a full set. Uh-oh. Hey, Free Heathen. How are you doing, my friend? You woke up. Are you out there streaming still? Yeah, I'll definitely check that, Monlight. You're going to head out? Awesome. Awesome. Thanks for chatting so much. I appreciate the conversation. I know it kind of gets dull when we're just watching it print go. But yeah, like I said, the machine's printing well. The detail and stuff is there. If I can get it to focus, the detail is there. We got a lot or a little bit of stringing, but I think some of that stringing that we were getting is just from the spool being out in the open for so long. So it's working. We'll continue to tweak and tune on it a little bit. But if you go to East Coast Rep Rap Fest, this printer will be at East Coast Rep Rap Fest. All right, have fun with work, Monlight. Appreciate it. Are you still out there streaming, Free Heathen? Yeah, right now it's doing that. It's doing that first quasi full layer over. I almost call it the under extruded layer over the infill, like that support layer. So it'll run, I think, 4 full layers. And then this print will be done. And hopefully we still don't fail, because we do have this one edge over here starting to peel up. So hopefully it doesn't rip it up and fail. I don't know if I just have like I didn't get it clean enough over there or what the deal is. But I appreciate everybody hanging out with me this evening. This has been a journey to get this printer done, and each one of these builds, we get a little bit better at it, but each one of these builds, we do a little something a little bit different. And, you know, that's what makes it interesting, is we've yet to do a fully stock build without, you know, doing any type of modifications during the process of the build. But on the Fabrico kit, that's the reason I'm doing the Fabrico kit as a stock build with everything that came in the package, so that it's 100% stock, and we'll be able to compare the stock Fabrico kit against my self-sourced Rook. And then we'll build the Rook 2020 as a self-sourced on that frame that Fabrico provided me, and that will give us, you know, another comparison spot. Pick stitches on. Okay, we got Maple Mustafa, Babe Ross. Yeah, I haven't braided Babe Ross in a while. X24 rocks. Okay. Sounds good. Who else did I see that was out there? I saw Way Cool Woods out there as well. But honestly, I don't think I've ever heard. So, Pez Liz, tell me about Pick Stitch. What is she working on? I believe that's a she, right? Because I think somebody rated into somebody that was doing stitching before. She is a shaky girl. I'm going to have to put this one on like something a little more substantial. Like I need to figure out if I can get a larger concrete slab. I think all my concrete bricks are not big enough to go underneath this. I say concrete bricks, my concrete tiles. Yeah, those are 16 inches, and this is 18 inches. Sweet. Yeah, 16 would barely have the, like, a quarter of each foot. Maybe a third of each foot. I'm going to have to figure something out, because she's a shaky boy. So I know Babe Ross. I don't know X24 Rocks. Give me some background on Pick Stitch or Maple Mustafa. Like, what are they working on this evening? Hey, Chris, how are you doing tonight? KB3D's in the house. So I got a question for you, Chris. Tofa is playing Final Fantasy 16. Okay. So Chris, the panel package I got from somebody else, I'm missing one of the side panels. Now, if it was just the acrylic, I've got clear acrylic, but it's smoked. So I've got the smoked panels. Would you have these or the ability to get me one side panel for a 300 size? Okay, so Mustafa is playing Final Fantasy. Gotcha, gotcha. By the way, Chris, I hope everything's going well with you today. You're what, Wednesday, or wait, it's Thursday, almost to the weekend, almost a couple of days off. Okay. Um, Give me a second. So this is the XT cast acrylic sheet. I think that's just all the I don't know if this tells you anything at all. But there's no other markings on here. Yeah, it just looks like the there is some dot matrix type print right here. I'm not sure if that would mean anything. So yeah, just let me know what we need to look at, and I'll try and figure it out if it would be the same. Yeah, it just stunk because I had the package sitting over here. I just never really looked at it, and I went to open it up and realized that there was a side panel missing out of it. It was a tad bit depressing, but yeah, she's printing. Hey, Poondog. The first thing that we printed after a little bit of fits and starts, because I was playing with the macros trying to get some of the Nomi stuff to work, was a Cali Dragon. And that came out really well. We had a little bit of stringing between the antlers, but I don't know how much of that would be retraction settings, temp, and how much of that is just the fact that this roll of filament's been sitting out in 50+% humidity for over a month. Okay, yeah, I'm trying to reach out to the other seller, but if I can't get hold of them in the next couple of days, I'll reach out to you, Chris, and see if if you can't do the two sides, and I'll just use the standard top panel and use the one side as the full front door. That's a good idea. Oof, yeah, that's the when Mrs. Dragon and I were going to move from Colorado Springs out here to North Carolina, I was working with Raytheon at the time, and we were looking at either a South Carolina, like Greenville, South Carolina, or Raleigh, North Carolina, because I wanted to stay with Raytheon, and they had positions in both those locations. We decided Raleigh because it would be better for my wife because she does early childhood special education, and she had been wanting to get into some advocacy roles, and being in the state capital, I think, would be better for that. And so we chose to come here. Well, shortly before we moved here, Raytheon, I want to say Missile Systems section, hit me up and said, "Hey, we hear you're looking for a position. We've got a cyber position here at Raytheon Missile Systems." I'm like, "Where's it at?" And it was in Phoenix or Tucson. And at that particular point in time, it was like 120. And there were things all over the news about garbage cans and stuff melting into the asphalt. And my wife was like, not just no, but hell no. And I'm like, I got you. I was like, I just had to ask. But yeah, because I was stationed in Tucson for 3 years. And yeah, that was like a tour downrange for 3 years straight. It was just hot. Even in the winter, it was hot. But yeah, we're printing, moving around a good deal. I'm going to add a little bit of pressure to the bottom because the speed's kind of cranked up a bit. We do have a piece that is sticking up there. A little bit is coming loose. I'm hoping that she holds on, but she might not. Man, she's rocking. So speed-wise, I mean, we're hitting like 135, 140 on these short runs, according to Clipper. Well, I may have to slow that back down so we don't fail on the last layer or two. Yeah, John Strand. It's good. Like I say, I probably just didn't get it cleaned. So, Chris, the first couple of prints of the Cali Dragon broke off mid-print, and not like way up mid-print, but when it was still down around the tail portion here. And I think it was just a combination of speed and the fact that I still hadn't like cleaned the bed. I just pulled it out of the package and put it on there. So I cleaned the bed. Oh. And oh yeah, that whole leg's starting to peel up now. Oofda. We'll see how this goes. No, I mean, I've used blue tape a lot in the past, especially on my TiVo Tarantula. Like normally at this point, I would have paused the print, kind of lifted up the affected area, put some glue stick down, and then kind of tried to push it down. Hell, I've been known to on one of my helmet builds, I used hot glue to hold down some tree support that was starting to come loose. Yeah, it's almost done. It's got like another layer, like 1 layer or 2 layers left to do. The top surface layer, I think I was just running it too fast. But I was using the standard Orca Slicer profile. I didn't change it. So I probably need to change that based on the print. And what's the temperature at too? Well, the temp's at 220, so it shouldn't be heat. But then again, yeah, I don't know. I didn't even look at the flow rate either. So it's doing I think it's top layer now, so it should be going slower than it normally would. I wasn't checking flow rate either. Yeah, that little screen, I mean, it's kind of a little bit like Pimp My Ride type thing, Pimp My Printer. Adding a little bling bling that is for the most part useless and provides a little functionality, but what the hey. The tool head lights aren't working, so either I wired them backwards or something, so I'll have to work on that. Yeah, for the second print off of this, and I haven't tuned anything. In fact, geez, I haven't even, that may be one of the issues too, is I never, I didn't tune the E-steps yet. So, oh yeah, most definitely Poon Dog. Like I remember when we were in Arizona, we literally just took a sheet of like aluminum, right? And put it on some cans, and you put a little dip in it and you can cook eggs and stuff sitting out there, because my building was right on an inactive taxiway. So we could sit out there and it's just black asphalt. So yeah, we just take and sit some metal buckets upside down and put a sheet of aluminum, just bowl a little sheet of aluminum, and we can cook on it. What I think it is, a bamboo. Oh, come on. No, I mean, it can move, it can go fast, but like I said, I didn't even think about it. I hadn't. So the E steps are set to what the 2.4 was set to, which should be pretty darn close. I just haven't validated it. But I am seeing some, there's some bad surface quality in parts of this. So, this last layer kind of covers it up and fixes it, or I just need to really do some tuning on it. But come on, I tensioned the belts. I did input shaper, but I haven't done pressure advance and I haven't done E-steps. So I definitely need to do E-steps, then do pressure advance. So since a couple of you are recently coming in, I'll show you guys this. So, and I see a lot of flaws in this, but I'm going to be overly critical of myself. But this came off of the 0G downstairs, and you can see like some extra ribbing there. I'm getting some weird ringing that wasn't there before. So the only thing I can think of, like you can see it right here, is I need to check the belt tensions again, make sure that everything's tightened, and then run input shaper on this one again. Because I did reprint all the printed parts on this one and replace them all. But this was a couple of day print and less than a spool of filament. And you know, things like this, if I'm going to paint it, wouldn't matter. And you can definitely sand that down and then paint it. The problem is if you sand it and you don't paint it, you're going to see it. It's going to be noticeable. So, little sanding, little Bondo. Throw a coat or two of spray paint on it, you'll be fine. Yep. Yep. Yeah, not too bad. So how are you doing tonight, Chris? Are you on your way home or are you at home finally? If you're on your way home, it's like 8 o'clock. You stayed way too late at work. But yeah, like I said, if I wanted to, well, I mean, even still, even if I left it the way it was, people still look at it at the show and be like, "Oh my God, this is awesome!" You know, I can't believe you could print things like that. You know, because even the one that's right behind me here, that's sitting up on top of the Mercury, has some of those ringing and print flaws on it, and everybody was like goo goo gaga over it at Midwest Rep Fest. And normally, if you're going to do a cosplay, you're going to sand it and paint it anyhow, right? So really, on a bamboo John strand, you can just take it out of the box and it goes and does perfect prints and everything's calibrated out of the box. Or is it just the fact that the bamboo is locked down and you can't do any of those calibrations? Okay, so I'll bring you guys in closer here. So once again, this edge did peel up pretty decently and was getting hit. So we'll have to fix that. But overall, you know, we got a few surface blemishes from where the probably if I added like another layer to it, those would have been gone. You wouldn't have seen those. So one more layer. But I mean, the surface is pretty good. The layer lines are good. I think we got a successful print, or fairly successful. We just need to do some more tuning on it. So yeah, you're stuck in an Amazon returns printer world. Yeah, I feel you there. I feel you there. I know how it is. So yeah, we're gonna work on this a little bit more. On Saturday, we're gonna switch some things up. Rather than continue on with this printer, I'm going to just find a home for this and just start printing and get some time on this printer. And just keep printing and get it through its paces some. And what I will do on Saturday is we are going to build the, pull it up here down in the right-hand corner. We're going to build one of these. You say, what is one of these? This is an Ivan Miranda mini tank. So I've got all the parts printed out. I did it in blue, not red, but that's me. And we're going to put one of these together. Yeah, so we're going to put one of these together and have some fun. I'm going to try and get Evil Diesel on the stream, partly because I need him to bring all the receiver and the rest of the electronics. I've got the motors and the ESC, but I need the receiver and the remote so that we can make it go burr and make the tracks go round. But we're gonna build one of these on stream, and then we should be able to get that all done on stream Saturday. And then next week we will begin to build the Fabrico Rook 2020. Or excuse me, the Fabrico Rook kit. And then I'm trying to decide if we're going to do the Rook and then the Rook 2020, because Fabrico did kick in a Rook 2020 frame kit. And I'm going to sell source the rest of the parts. In fact, I already have. So I haven't decided if I'm going to do a Rook, then another Rook, or do a Rook, and then the Ender 3 belt printer. Because I'm really thinking I want to do the Ender 3 belt printer because it's going to be itching in the back of my mind. And I was looking for a donor Ender 3 for that build, and I think that has fallen through, which means the Ender over here in the corner, the one that got me over 4,000 print hours on it, right? It's a little long in the tooth. It's been heavily modified, but I'm thinking I'm going to tear that one down and we'll rebuild that one as the belt printer. And before we tear it down, we're going to have a moment of silence and we're going to pray to the machine gods because it's been a good printer to me. And then we'll tear it down and we'll build it into a belt printer. So, yeah, I think that's the plan. So, and with that said, guys, it's 8:15. I'm still a little jittery because I've had way too much coffee and not enough solid food for the day. So I am going to get ready to locate a good raid target for tonight. I believe we were talking about, who was that, Chewy, we were talking about? I think it was Chewy. Let's see, where was that at? We had Maple Mustafa, who is playing Final Fantasy. We had Babe Ross, who we haven't rated in a while. Maple Mustafa. Okay. All right, John Strand. Thank you. Yeah, we can jump over to Maple Mustafa. That's fine. Hey, I'm all about trying new things and going and seeing new people. Folks, if you can, hey Shenanigans, how you doing? Yeah, evening all, see y'all. If you've been here for a while, Shenanigans, I apologize for not seeing you. Thank you for popping in, and if you just popped in, thanks for taking the time to pop in. We're going to go ahead and raid out. In fact, hold that thought. Because we're going to go to Maple Mustafa, but I do want to see if somebody else was on first. No, okay. So let's go over to check out Maple Mustafa. Apparently, they're playing Final Fantasy 16. I like various games and I like that genre as well. I've never really gotten into the Final Fantasy games, even though that is a genre that I like. So let's go ahead and go over and check out Maple Mustafa. Thank you so much for everybody that came in and followed, and Moko Made for bringing your crew in tonight. That was amazing. Thank you so much. And thank you for the folks that resubscribed tonight. That is always appreciated because it helps feedback into the channel and allows me to continue to bring you guys new content. Thank you all so much. Have a great night. Let's show some love to Maple Mustafa, and we will see you all again on Saturday. And with that, I got the raid started. Okay, the channel is intended for mature audiences, just to be aware of that. And good night, Chris, and I'll reach out to you if I do need some panels. Thank you much, and we'll talk later. Bye now. We'll bring coffee. Awesome, Pez. Thanks.